The story of Jim Gordon is one of immense talent, tragic flaws, and ultimate downfall. As a session drummer, Gordon was one of the most sought-after musicians of the 1960s and 1970s, contributing to some of the most iconic songs in rock history. His work with artists like Eric Clapton, George Harrison, and Joe Cocker cemented his legacy as a virtuoso. Yet, behind the scenes, Gordon's life was a tumultuous journey marked by personal demons, untreated mental illness, and a series of decisions that ultimately led to his undoing. Bobby Whitlock, a close collaborator and friend of Gordon during their time in Derek and the Dominos, might argue that Gordon's downfall was not just a tragic accident of fate, but a consequence of his own actions and choices. This essay explores why Jim Gordon deserved his downfall, not out of malice, but as a sobering reminder of the consequences of unchecked behavior and the importance of accountability. Jim Gordon's rise to fame was nothing short of meteoric. Born in 1945 in Los Angeles, Gordon displayed an early aptitude for music, particularly the drums. By his late teens, he was already a sought-after session musician, known for his impeccable timing, versatility, and ability to adapt to various genres. His work on hits like Layla by Derek and the Dominos, Tiny Dancer by Elton John, and Classical Gas by Mason Williams showcased his extraordinary talent. Gordon's drumming was not just technically proficient, it was emotionally resonant, adding depth and texture to every track he touched. However, Gordon's success was not without its dark side. The pressures of the music industry, combined with his own personal struggles, began to take a toll. Whitlock, who worked closely with Gordon during the recording of Layla and other assorted love songs, might reflect on the early signs of Gordon's unraveling. Even then, there were moments of erratic behavior, mood swings, and a growing sense of isolation. While these signs were often dismissed as the eccentricities of a genius, they were, in hindsight, the first indicators of a deeper problem. Jim Gordon's downfall can be traced back to several key factors: his untreated mental illness, his inability to take responsibility for his actions, and the enabling environment of the music industry. Whitlock, reflecting on their time together, might argue that Gordon's descent was not inevitable, but was the result of a series of choices, both his own and those of the people around him. One of the most significant factors in Gordon's downfall was his struggle with schizophrenia, a condition that went undiagnosed and untreated for much of his life. Schizophrenia is a severe mental disorder characterized by delusions, hallucinations, and impaired cognitive functioning. In Gordon's case, these symptoms manifested as paranoia, auditory hallucinations, and a growing detachment from reality. Whitlock might argue that while Gordon's mental illness was not his fault, his refusal to seek help and the music industry's failure to intervene were critical missteps. In the 1970s, mental health was often stigmatized, and many viewed Gordon's behavior as simply part of his artistic temperament. However, as his condition worsened, it became clear that something was deeply wrong. Gordon's inability to acknowledge his illness and seek treatment not only harmed himself, but also those around him. The music industry of the 1960s and 1970s was a world of excess, where drugs, alcohol, and erratic behavior were often normalized. Gordon's talent made him a valuable asset, and many turned a blind eye to his increasingly troubling behavior. Whitlock might reflect on how the industry's culture of enabling allowed Gordon's problems to fester. Instead of confronting him or encouraging him to seek help, many of his peers and collaborators simply accepted his behavior as part of the package. This enabling environment extended to Gordon's personal relationships as well. His mother, Osa Marie Gordon, was a significant figure in his life, but their relationship was fraught with tension and dysfunction. Whitlock might argue that Gordon's inability to break free from this toxic dynamic contributed to his downward spiral. Instead of seeking help or distancing himself from negative influences, Gordon remained trapped in a cycle of denial and self-destruction. While mental illness and the enabling environment played significant roles in Gordon's downfall, Whitlock might also emphasize the importance of personal accountability. Gordon's actions, particularly his violent outbursts and refusal to seek help, had real and lasting consequences. His most infamous act, the murder of his mother in 1983, was the culmination of years of untreated mental illness and unchecked behavior. Whitlock might argue that while Gordon's mental illness explains his actions, it does not excuse them. The murder of his mother was a horrific act that shattered lives and left an indelible stain on his legacy. By refusing to confront his illness and take responsibility for his actions, Gordon allowed his demons to consume him, leading to his ultimate downfall. Jim Gordon's story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked behavior, the importance of mental health, and the consequences of failing to take responsibility for one's actions. Whitlock, reflecting on their time together, might argue that Gordon's downfall was not just a personal tragedy, but a broader commentary on the music industry and society's failure to address mental health issues. One of the most tragic aspects of Gordon's story is the waste of his immense talent. At his peak, Gordon was one of the most respected and in-demand drummers in the world. His contributions to music are undeniable, and his work continues to inspire musicians to this day. However, his legacy is forever overshadowed by his crimes and the circumstances of his downfall. Whitlock might argue that Gordon's talent made his downfall all the more heartbreaking. Had he sought help and taken responsibility for his actions, he could have continued to make music and contribute to the industry he loved. Instead, his story serves as a reminder of the importance of addressing mental health issues and the dangers of ignoring the warning signs. Ultimately, Whitlock's take on Jim Gordon's downfall might center on the importance of accountability. While Gordon's mental illness and the enabling environment of the music industry played significant roles in his descent, his refusal to seek help and take responsibility for his actions were critical factors in his downfall. Whitlock might argue that Gordon's story is a reminder that talent and success do not absolve individuals of their responsibilities. No matter how gifted or celebrated, everyone must confront their demons and take accountability for their actions. Gordon's story also serves as a broader commentary on the music industry and society's treatment of mental health. In the 1960s and 1970s, mental illness was often misunderstood or ignored, and many viewed erratic behavior as part of the artistic process. Whitlock might argue that Gordon's downfall highlights the need for greater awareness and support for mental health issues, both within the music industry and society as a whole. Jim Gordon's downfall was a tragic and complex event shaped by his immense talent, untreated mental illness, and the enabling environment of the music industry. Bobby Whitlock, reflecting on their time together, might argue that while Gordon's mental illness and the industry's culture of excess played significant roles in his descent, his refusal to seek help and take responsibility for his actions were critical factors in his downfall. Gordon's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked behavior, the importance of mental health, and the consequences of failing to take accountability for one's actions. It is a reminder that talent and success do not absolve individuals of their responsibilities, and that addressing mental health issues is essential for both personal and societal well-being. This essay is a fictional exploration of the themes and ideas that might arise in a discussion like the one you referenced. If you have specific points or details from the video that you'd like to incorporate, feel free to share them, and I can refine the essay further.